This move by Sean Combs was not unexpected. His lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, had said they would appeal two judges' rulings denying Sean Combs bail.
His resolve is the same. He believes he's innocent. I believe he's innocent. And we're going to fight this case with all of our might. We don't have to fight any longer.
Look, our investigation is ongoing. We are committed to bringing justice to everyone who's been victimized by the defendant. I can't tell you why it took so long.
When you thought Diddy's protracted legal drama couldn't get any more heated, the music mogul made a stunning remark in court that has everyone talking. Diddy didn't back down when faced with some of the most serious allegations of his life. In fact, his startling admission might turn the case completely upside down. Prosecutors are in a panic at this unexpected turn of events. And let's face it, his attorneys weren't expecting it either. Is this the pivotal action that prevents him from spending the rest of his life in prison? Or is it the last straw? Now let's get started. Diddy used to be so haughty and unapproachable that he would only listen to himself. Living as though he were the world's monarch, he thought he could avoid the repercussions of his deeds indefinitely. But the worry is palpable now, following his precipitous fall from favor. Diddy is frantically acting, going to such lengths that would make any rational person scratch their head. You know, the notorious scammer Sam Bankman-Fried, the one responsible for FTX's collapse? Diddy has now enlisted Alexander Shapiro as his attorney to challenge the judge's ruling to keep him behind bars for a third time. Yes, it is accurate. Shapiro was chosen by Bankman-Fried, who is currently serving a 25-year sentence for his multi-billion-dollar cryptocurrency scam, as his own Hail Mary effort at escaping justice. Diddy now believes he can work the same miracle on him. As if that weren't strange enough, Diddy and Bankman-Fried are currently housemates with other prisoners at the infamous Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, living in a room akin to a dormitory.
He is not giving up, even before he gets to the trial, he's not giving up on trying to get out of jail. You know that he has been turned down twice.
Thus, Combs is being kept in Brooklyn at this time and will stay there until his trial starts. Naturally, if his legal team is able to alter that. They want to file an appeal in the hopes of persuading the appeals court that Diddy should have been let to post bond and that the judge was mistaken. Diddy's attorneys are currently battling for precisely that. Herein is the true problem. Is there a rationale to their actions? The argument is still valid. This is the issue. There is a very particular legal criteria that must be followed when appealing a decision such as this one. It doesn't matter if the choice was the right one or not. Is it true that Judge A used his discretion? This is where it gets complicated since the trial judge has the last say when it comes to setting bail. Nevertheless, the burden of proof is heavy to persuade an appeals court to reverse this kind of ruling. The trial judge grounded their decision on Diddy's risk of flight and threat to others. The court believed that Diddy couldn't be let to go free while awaiting trial because of his financial resources, in addition to his attempts to coerce and threaten witnesses. Now, the court has the last say on whether or not it is too severe, and persuading an appeals court to reverse that will be difficult, if not impossible. Appeals courts often give the trial judge's analysis of the evidence a great deal of weight. It is unlikely that they will intervene and declare that the trial judge made a mistake. Last Monday, during a pretrial hearing, Combs' legal team made yet another futile bid to get bail. It was their third go at it this time. However, they were unprepared for the terrible truth that stood before them. You see, they claimed that the case's sensationalism was the sole reason why bail was denied. In an attempt to make the first judge appear to be caught up in the media craze, they even offered a $50 million bond with rigorous house confinement in the hopes that things would improve. However, the jury? They did not accept it. The argument failed this time. Judge Arun Subramanian actually didn't take long to remind everyone that Diddy was staying put.
States government. They start making this case as a takedown of a successful black.
He made it very apparent that Combs will be incarcerated in the Brooklyn-based Metropolitan Detention Center, where he has been since his arrest on September 16th. As the matter continues to heat up, it appears that no amount of legal wrangling will be able to convince them otherwise. It also seems like Diddy's legal team is running out of moves now that the trial is scheduled for May 5th. Rumor has it that Diddy may have revealed some important information that might come back to harm him. Since, let's face it, he didn't work alone. It's not only his own neck that's at risk. Now, a lot of people are scared in their boots due to his unstable temper and a rapidly developing court case. Those who were formerly in his inner circle are likely sleeping less than they should right now, because they know that if Diddy fails, he may bring them down with him. The walls are closing in, and it won't be long until some well-known figures begin to fall apart. Diddy's lawyer attempted to persuade the courts to grant Diddy a pretrial parole so that he could prepare for his case, which was another significant component of that hearing. Sean Combs asks the court to grant him release under reasonable bail terms and to provide him immediate freedom while his appeal is being handled in accordance with Federal Rule of Appellate Procedure 9A3. Despite the unproven accusations made by the government, Mr. Combs ought to be freed since the terms that have been suggested will reassuringly ensure both his appearance and the community's safety. As you may have predicted, Diddy was not granted a pretrial release due to its violation of the Bail Reform Act's requirements. Mr. Combs is thought to be not guilty. Even though he was well aware that an indictment was imminent, he chose to go to New York. His attorneys pleaded the case in the appeal. He demonstrated by taking unusual steps that he intended to address the accusations head-on rather than to flee.
We made a bail appeal to Judge Carter. It did not go our way. The fight continues. We're not giving up by a long shot. I told Mr. Combs I'm going to try and get his case to trial as quickly as possible. I'm going to try and minimize the amount of time he spends in very, very difficult and I believe inhumane housing conditions in the special housing unit of the Metropolitan Detention Facility. And I'm going to do everything that I can to move his case as quickly as possible. I understand that the government has a great amount of electronic devices that they have to download and provide to me, but everything's on the government's timetable, nothing's on the defendant's timetable, and they're going to have to accommodate me and him and give us a quick trial.
His bail package was made to make sure he didn't hurt anyone and didn't have a chance to speak with witnesses. The Bail Reform Act states that freedom is the standard, and that incarceration before, to, or during a trial ought to be a very rare exception. The court was unmoving in spite of these arguments, indicating that they were not persuaded. Not only that, but they also attempted to use the self-harm aspect to try to persuade Diddy to back off, which failed miserably. He is currently holed up at the MDC in New York, purportedly under observation for self-harm.
Well, Sean Diddy Combs on suicide watch at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center after 2 judges denied his request for bail.
To be honest, it's standard procedure for instances with this level of public attention. Nobody is buying it, though. Finally, seeing that this would jeopardize Diddy's jail term, Diddy's attorney issued a statement in which they stated, "Mr. Combs is strong, healthy, and focused on his defense. He fully believes in the truth and his legal team, and he is determined to fight this case."
A lot of them are brought up on pretty heavy federal indictments, right? So just in terms of the atmosphere there, it's just certainly one that no one wants to be in.
Regarding those accusations, they are all related to his infamous freak-offs. These were not your usual post-party events. We're talking about hours, if not days, of performances in which Diddy is said to have forced witnesses to commit incriminating activities while filming the entire incident. According to the indictment, Diddy went to great lengths to sate his depraved cravings, preserve his glamorous public image, and keep those dark truths hidden. That's hardly the worst news, though, as Diddy doesn't exactly have a glamorous life right now. Some have called the location he's in downright hellish. Not holding back, a former MDC prisoner described the circumstances as cruel, and that seems like poetic justice to me. Judges, lawyers, and detainees have expressed concern about the MDC's hazardous, brutal circumstances, widespread violence, and several fatalities. Furthermore, a few judges have declined to commit cases to the nation's largest city's sole federal prison. Combs' legal team is working feverishly to get him transferred to a New Jersey jail, arguing that the MDC in Brooklyn is not appropriate for pretrial custody. It's understandable why they're pushing so hard given the difficulties he's dealing with. Diddy is imprisoned in a special housing section of a facility and kept under continual observation in his cell for up to 23 hours per day. Although it's normal treatment for well-known prisoners, Diddy finds no comfort in it, according to his attorney, Mark Agnifilo. The most noteworthy aspect of all of this is that Diddy's defense plan may be severely jeopardized by the MDC lockdown. Lockdown, as ex-offenders have noted, restricts communication with legal teams, and as experts such as Hamilton have noted, can make preparation for trial a nightmare. It makes it more challenging for them to argue their argument. Because of this, you are now dependent on the facility's actions for your ability to contact with your counsel. Is it under lockdown? Is access to the facility open to visitors? Basically, good luck arguing your point if they're under lockdown or not accepting guests. It appears that Diddy's capacity to retaliate is being severely limited while he is inside. Wait though, things get worse. Los Angeles lawyer Gloria Allred, who is defending many of Combs' accusers, provided insight into the context of the widely reported case in an exclusive interview with Eyewitness News. Allred clarified that this issue goes much beyond the accusations, saying that it's truly all about power and the abuse of authority. It discusses more general concerns about power and influence in the entertainment sector. Thalia Graves, one of the several claimed victims, is one of Allred's clients. Graves disclosed the long-term effects of the A on her, saying,
"Violation I have experienced during the assault has had lasting effects on my body, causing ongoing health problems and complications. The combination of physical and emotional pain has created a cycle of suffering from which it is so hard to break free. I want to continue on this journey towards recovery and healing. I'm glad that he is locked up, but that's a temporary feeling of relief."
Furthermore, even though Combs' ex-girlfriend, singer Cassie Ventura, reached an undisclosed settlement barely a day after filing a lawsuit accusing him of R&A in November of last year, there's an increasing chance that she may take the stand. Allred made a suggestion that Ventura's role would be crucial, mentioning the possibility of filing charges against anyone who tried to scare witnesses. She went on to say that in certain cases, friends or supporters of the defendant who intimidate a witness may also face criminal penalties. That took place in the R. Kelly case as well. As the trial draws nearer and the stress around this case and its possible ramifications grows, Allred said that analogies between Diddy's case and other high-profile trials have been made. It's about time Diddy's years of power maneuvers began costing him in the behind, and his legal issue is just getting started. After living a lavish lifestyle for decades, you would think he would have anticipated this. But nope. None anticipated the extent of the impact. And now, well-known Houston lawyer Tony Busby is making waves by looking into allegations made by more than 3,800 people nationwide, charging your guy Diddy with anything from assault to ST, and even SA, wait for it, of children. Yes, what you just read is true. Sitting in the prison facility, Diddy is presumably second-guessing all those weird after-parties. But he has to be concerned about more than just the feds. Busby is prepared to sue him in civil court, which might completely destroy him. He has already interviewed 120 people, half of whom are women and half of whom are males, and they all have interesting tales to share. And these aren't nice stories, I assure you. To further support it all, there are messages, images, and videos, some of which are already in the FBI's possession, to spare. Yes, receipts are being produced, and things don't seem good. And what about the purported attacks? From Manhattan to Miami, from puppy parties, ouch, to New Year's Eve bashes, they have been going on for more than 25 years. This seems like a scene from a Hollywood scandal film, but it's real life, and it gets messier every day. In case you were wondering, Busby's crew is now handling 3,200 more claims. So brace yourselves, as things are about to become extremely worse for Diddy. You have to ask yourself at this point, did Diddy truly believe he could get away with it for all time? It appears that he is learning the hard way that karma is unaffected by your level of fame. According to a former warden at MDC Brooklyn, where Diddy is incarcerated, there are many other convicts who would want to create a reputation for themselves by taking him out, so he best keep an eye on things while he's there. Former facility manager Cameron Lindsay told TMZ that Diddy has essentially become a target on his back due to his prominence as a celebrity, and the severe accusations leveled against him. Taking him down may even be seen as a badge of honor by certain prisoners. It really is that serious. That's why he's being kept in the special housing unit, also known as solitary, where prison officials can keep a closer eye on him and ensure that he's isolated from the general public, which is full of people who wouldn't mind making a quick move on a guy like him. However, don't think that living in such a regimented place, 1 hour of rec time per day and 3 showers per week don't exactly scream luxury, because family and friends will be able to visit him occasionally. But Cameron Lindsay says that even those visits are difficult because of how difficult it is to get to, and the prison doesn't provide more time for people to hang out. Therefore, even if Diddy's entourage turns up, he won't get much FaceTime with him. His attorneys, on the other hand, will have more access while they work on his case. Diddy's current day is essentially Jail 101. He gets up at 6 in the morning. Wake-up call, then making his bed, mopping the floor and maintaining his cell tidy. It's amazing how the world of music has changed so much that the man who once controlled it is now forced to perform household chores like a teenager. Federal prosecutors, however, retaliated sharply against Diddy's legal team after Mark Agnifilo, Diddy's attorney, accused them of racial profiling the hip-hop mogul in the most recent TMZ documentary, The Fall of Diddy. In the indictment, Agnifilo claimed that the federal government was targeting Diddy because he is a successful black man. When they couldn't find anything dubious in his tax returns or business dealings, they turned their attention to his bedroom. However, the courtroom drama quickly heated up, with the prosecutors dismissing those claims as unfounded and stating that they are not prosecuting Diddy because of his race, but rather because of the serious charges that are at hand. We're talking about racketeering conspiracy, forceful fraud, and transporting people for the purpose of P. Things got even messier when Diddy's legal team requested a gag order, implying that the federal government was leaking information from the grand jury to the press. The judge refused to accept this argument, so both sides agreed to keep their mouths shut when speaking to the media going forward. This case is far from over. As you can see, Shan Kum isn't exactly looking that puffy these days. No, it's not just because he dropped the name Puffy for Diddy. He's also shed quite a few pounds, but not because of his time behind bars. If Diddy thought he was in serious trouble now, he might not have seen the worst of it yet. They've been going through terabytes of electronic data from Diddy's homes in Miami, Los Angeles, and New York for months. Diddy's appearance in court last week caught everyone's attention due to his noticeable weight loss, especially in his face. Rumors circulated that his weight loss could be attributed to the food he was served while incarcerated, or that the stress of his criminal case was finally getting to him. Whatever the reason, Diddy's courtroom appearance generated a lot of conversation, and it wasn't just about the charges. His 6 oldest children, including the 17-year-old twins Delilah and Jesse, arrived together to support their father. Fans are making fun of Diddy's family for their support during the trial, but the family is just as guilty as Diddy. His mother knew that his kids knew that Diddy is a monster, and you, Janet, know that your son is a P, but you chose not to step in or report him to the police. So you allowed his unethical behavior to continue towards his victims. That's all for today. We hope you liked that video. And if you did, be sure to hit like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos like this.